Hey, Ms. Rector, do you want to go first since you need to leave?
I sure will.
Okay.
Thank you all so much. I hope I'm not glaring on you here. I'll try to keep you updated, and I'll try to be as brief as I can. But I do know there's several things that that you all may want to be updated on, as well as the public. Just to start out with Scott High, with our grades, we are in our last week of academic assignments, and again, we're trying to send out school reach calls to those students who still haven't achieved that P status yet, or that passing status yet in their classes. We've been doing that for the last couple of weeks. So again, just encourage parents that if they did get one of those calls on Friday, to be checking that Power School account or reaching out to those teachers and making sure that their student has everything that they need turned in to ensure that they're passing their classes for this semester. We know it's been extra difficult, and we know it's been challenging, and we see all the hard work that's happening at home. We know it's been a challenge, especially for those parents who are working and then coming home and trying to do school with their kids. We know that's hard. And all we want to do is help you just get them through. So we've got several students that still just need to turn some things in. And again, we're here to help. So we were trying to make some of those individual phone calls today. But again, if people have questions, they can certainly call the school. We're there every day. And we'll do our very best to help them get those assignments in this week. After this week, we're going to transition into a little bit of an what we're going to call an extended learning period for those students who didn't pass classes. But we're going to be very selective in doing that. And we are going to focus on those required courses for graduation. And the way you can kind of think of it is kind of like a 2-week early summer school, but at home. And we're going to try to reach out. We've touched base already with some students, and we'll be doing that more this week to try to make sure that through all this difficulty that our students are staying on track to graduation. And that's the most important thing. We don't want something that is happening now to come back and haunt somebody, 2 or 3 years down the road. We want to make sure they stay on track now. So we're really trying hard with that. But again, I want to encourage parents that, or even grandparents, if you've got high schoolers at home and you're not sure where they stand, or you're not sure how to help them, please reach out and call the school, and we'll do everything we can to help you get there. I know that it was announced last week, and everybody's heard at this point, we did have to cancel our prom, and I know we're all disappointed about that. I was very disappointed about that as well, but it just kind of is what it is at this point with the health regulations and the guidelines that we were given by the health department. There just simply wasn't any way to make that work and it be the type of event that that it's meant to be. So that's unfortunate. I will say this, I know that there are different groups that are getting things together outside of the school. Those are private groups and other organizations that are doing that. The school is not involved in that at all. We're not endorsing any of those, and we won't be participating in any of that per the governor's executive order 30. We won't be doing that. We have not been given approval by the health department to do those things. And so we won't be participating or endorsing any of those. Again, that'll be something left up to private citizens, but that's not something from the school angle. I know the big questions on everybody's mind is graduation. We did start today giving out cap and gowns to seniors and letting them come by and turn in books and pick up their cap and gowns and start those final processes with them. And we gave out a paper to those students today that kind of walked them through what some of our thoughts are on graduation at this point. Things are still very much changing when it comes to that. In fact, we had a plan last week and had that approved, and then we got into this weekend and got some additional guidance on spacing and seating being able to do that. I did follow up and check on that, and it was confirmed. So it did change our plans a little bit. And so we came in yesterday and kind of started over a little bit. We are working on 2 different plans at this point. We are working on an outdoor plan, and that if we are able to, of course, that's going to be weather determining. If we are able to host a graduation outside, it will be one ceremony that will include all of the graduates at one time. An indoor ceremony is our backup plan, and we do have a plan for that. Unfortunately, because of the new seating guidance, if we do an indoor ceremony, it will have to be split into 2. Now, again, we're still fine tuning those things and the details about that. And I know that sometimes it's disappointing when people hear things like, that we are going to have to limit attendance. And if it is indoors, we will only be able to seat 2 guests per graduate. I know that's disappointing. I don't like it either. But we're kind of forced to follow the regulations that are there, and we want to be able to have a safe ceremony for everybody. So again, I know those things are disappointing, but we do have to work within the parameters that we're given. An outdoor ceremony, we are working on our ability to expand that and be able to offer more attendance. The problem with the outdoor ceremony and adding more attendance is not space. That's not the issue. It's the ability to control the amount of people that we have there, because keep in mind, in certain circumstances, depending on how we do that, we may have to do things like take everyone's temperature, walk them to their seats, escort them, exit them from their seats, and do all of that in a very orderly manner. And if you're talking about doing that for hundreds of people, that can take up a significant amount of time. So we're trying to manage those things with the expectation of nobody wants to have to arrive to an event 2.5 hours early because it's going to take that long to get in. So we don't want those things to happen. And we know we have to be able to control a lot of measures. So that is going to limit the number of people that we can feasibly do that with. So again, I just want to communicate that with everybody. And I know people have a lot of questions. And again, it still is very much in the development stage. We had a lot of changes yesterday. So we're still very new in some of this. We're doing the best that we can as we go through it. I will say this, I did hear from our yearbook publisher today, and they told us that they can't give us a shipment deadline right now, that it may even be another 2 weeks before they can give us a shipment deadline on yearbooks because those plants are so backed up. And they just basically told us to expect those after school was out. So it may be sometime before yearbooks are in. I did also have contact with Balfour, who is the representative that does some of the invitations and some of the extra senior orders. We did get all of our cap and gowns in, but these are those extra things. So if kids ordered an extra tassel or a diploma cover or things, a hoodie, things like that. Those things have also not been shipped, and we are not able to get a shipment date on those yet as well. So again, I'll keep people posted on that stuff as I know it, but a lot of those things I don't have answers for right now. But I do have to run. I'm actually headed to Knoxville to pick up some stuff that we need in preparation for these events. But if you all have questions, I'd be more than glad to take those at this time.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Rector.
Thank you.
Be safe. Okay. Ms. Stanley, you want to go next?
Just a second, Kiwi. I'm here.
Hello. Hello.
Just wanted to remind everybody that we will be doing food distribution tomorrow from 11 to 12:30. And also during that time, we'll be giving out the pre-K 3 student belongings. So we encourage those parents to come by and get their food, as well as pick up the belongings for their children. And we still have some students, particularly in 5 through 8, that need to get some assignments in. So we are encouraging parents to please check with the teachers, check with the schools to get those assignments in. We have teachers that have made house calls to the students to deliver or pick up assignments, and we'll continue to do the best we can to get all of those assignments in, but we need all the help we can get from the parents. Also, we have on our website the slideshow for pre-K. So if the parents want to view those, they're welcome to watch the slideshow that we have pictures of the students. We're really proud of those students, congratulate them. And also want to say it is Teacher Appreciation Week, and I couldn't work with a better group of teachers and all over the county. Technology has been great on helping us throughout this time. My teachers have been phenomenal. Just so proud to say that we want to thank them. Our cafeteria staff, Ms. Terry and Ms. Christie, have worked endlessly and tirelessly to distribute food to the families. So thanks to all of them.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Stanley.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have Miss Amy Jeffers with us?
No, Miss Amy is planning doing some stuff for her daughter's wedding today, so she cannot make it with us tonight.
Okay. What about Miss Goodman, Donna Goodman?
Donna was on the road. She was going to be trying to be listening in. I don't know if she was able to connect or not.
Okay. I'll move up to Miss Lisa Hamilton. Miss Lisa?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I have nothing really new to report. We're collecting assignments and we are handing out all the student belongings. I do want to echo the thank you to all the teachers and how much we appreciate them, and we appreciate everyone in any capacity that's helped us just in the background, foreground, whatever they need to be. They've been there. So thank you to everyone for all the hard work, and we appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Hamilton. Okay. What about Mr. Cash? Is he with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just want to echo kind of what Ms. Hamilton and Ms. Stanley said. This whole experience the last 2 months has been, our teachers have, well, everybody has went above and beyond even our high expectations. But I know it's a Teacher Appreciation Week, so I really want to tell them thank you for all their hard work. I think last week was Secretary's Day, and last Friday was Cook's Day. And I think tomorrow is our School Nurses Day. And I just want to, like, it takes a village. I'm in the belief that it takes a village to raise a family, and we've got a pretty good village at Fairview. So just really pleased. Like on Wednesdays, it's unbelievable when we hand out meals. Last week, I think we did a little over 4,400, which was the most we've done at Fairview during this time, and it really takes everybody to come in and help, and our cafeteria staff really has everything organized, and it's really something to see on those Wednesdays on those meals. But I just want to say out loud how much I appreciate all the hard work going on at Fairview, and I know what's going on at all the schools. My custodians are working hard too. We're getting a few little projects done that a lot of times we don't have time during the regular time we're off during the summer. So we're getting some of those taken care of. Maintenance, and Mr. Shannon's already got some projects going on at Fairview, pour some concrete. So I really appreciate all their help. We are kind of like what Ms. Stanley said. We are having a hard time with a handful of students, getting in touch and staying in touch with those students and parents. But we'll continue that the next couple of weeks to try to do all we can to get that work turned in. Also, we were able to get our yearbooks turned in, submitted before all this happened, and we got them back. I think I put a copy of our yearbook in everybody's mailbox. So I hope, if you haven't checked it, you should have a yearbook from Fairview in your mailbox at the board office. Miss Annie does a great job with that, and a lot of the students. It's kind of a student-led thing too, so they all do an amazing job with our yearbook. And that's all I have, unless you guys have anything for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cash, and thanks for the annuals too. Okay, Ms. Tanya, you next.
Hello, thank you. Again, I don't want to say ditto to all of that, but it is Teacher Appreciation Week, and I just want to give a big shout out to all my Birchfield crew. I mean, it's unreal, just like Mr. Cash said, at every school. These teachers and the staff and the cafeteria worker, they just stepped it up to another notch. And when you're delivering, like Mr. Cash said, 4,000 plus meals each week, that is a huge undertaking. But it's going like clockwork. And kids are being fed, which is what I love to hear. And I'm sure Mr. Hall probably has some more data on that, on how many at each school that's going on, but it's just been great. Miss Buffy at school is just doing phenomenal. All of our teachers, all of our parents. And with it being Teacher Appreciation Week, even those at-home teachers that we have in our parents and grandparents and older brothers and older sisters, they've done a great job the last 2 months. And I think it's going to cause everybody to appreciate educators a little bit more, to appreciate the school buildings a little bit more, give us a little bit more of that school pride back with everyone. But I'm so very proud of them. And like Mr. Cash said, tomorrow is our food distribution. It will be from 11 until 12:30. We've got a special visitor planned for tomorrow. Smokey from UT is going to be at our food pickup tomorrow, so we're excited to see him. So hopefully we'll get a lot of pictures of him being there. Next week at Birchwood, we have scheduled for students to come in and pick up their belongings. There will be 2 grade levels each day, one under each of our awnings on different sides of the building, so we can still control the social distancing aspect of that. We've put that out on social media and to our parents, but we'll also make some school reach calls. But like I said, that is scheduled for next week. We're still getting things graded. Teachers are having to grade so many things at one time, so just be patient with us. We will get those things into Power School and contact the students that we need to get things returned. But all in all, it's very busy. It's a very surreal closing of the school year, because these last 2 months have just, put everybody in a different perspective, I think. But I think, and I hope, and I'm hopeful that it's going to be putting folks in a more grateful pose. And like Scott said, it takes a village. And I'm very blessed.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tanya. How about Linda Keaton?
Okay, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have the camera on, but just so not for this. Again, like everyone else, I would like to say we so appreciate our teachers, our staff, principals, everybody that works with students, even our central office. And I do know last week was Secretary's Day, I think, and I think we may miss that. I think tomorrow is Nurses Appreciation Day or Nurses Day. But anyway, things that I have had to be doing, I am working on the pre-K grant, even though it is not to the length and the depth that we usually have to do. There does have to be some things that have to be filled out and put on e-plan for that to be approved. And I think that approval is on the school board agenda for next week. I am working on getting that all completed. Also working on checking professional development for those 5 required in-service days. We do have still some teachers, even though we did have 4 days at the beginning and about 18 days throughout the summer, we still do have some teachers who lack those days, an additional day. So we are going to have to try to figure out what they need to do. We're also arranging to have, since there's only 9 pre-K teachers, and I think Miss Debbie has 1, we can still bring those teachers in and do the required CPR that we have to do every other year, and theirs does expire this year. So next week we are going to be doing that for the teachers and the assistants. And then Adrienne Butler from the state, she's our pre-K evaluator. She will be doing an online evaluation. She will be connecting with those pre-K teachers and questioning them about things that they do and procedures, and making sure that everybody has the certification they need and things like that. So that's coming up here in a few days. I just wanted to mention, and you probably have heard about the early literacy, which partnered with Governor Lee. It's Governor Lee's and the TDOE Governor Early Literacy Foundation program, which initially it started out being a lot of training, certification for K2 teachers. Now it's changed a little bit. Now there are, the way I understand it now, and I talked to somebody from Dominique from East Corps. She said that would probably most likely be videos now. So I think part of the money that was going for all that had to be put into something else with this last budget plan that the governor does have. And as part of that program is something called Ready Rosie. And this is a partnership with parents where, and the system we partnered with that. And I think most systems in the state partnered with what's called Ready Rosie. And this is where videos for all those school-age children will actually, it is birth to 3rd grade, I think, where they'll receive books all throughout the summer through September 1. And then the Ready Rosie is an online program that's going to have different things for them to do, simple and fun activities to help their children learn while at home, and parents can help their children learn at home. So we are in the process of getting parents signed up. It turned into being quite a job, especially for technology, where they had to send all of our information to the state, all the information for the parents to the state. So in the process of getting that information out to parents now and letting parents sign up for that program. And it's kind of sort of like the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. It's kind of, that is part of this. So that's going to be interesting. And then there is a foundational skills curriculum. The draft has been put out now, and it's a supplement for pre-K through grade 2. A curriculum that's going to integrate a lot of oral language and phonological awareness, vocabulary, things like that. So each grade in those pre-K 2 do have additional things to add to the curriculum, even though we did adopt a new reading series. This is going to add some additional things that they need to do. And the state was questioned about how this came about and who came up with this supplement curriculum. And as it turns out, it was led by a LaBelle Consulting Group, selected, and they used Core Knowledge Foundation's opening source foundational skills to come up with this list. So the draft is out right now. There'll be, I think the final draft will be out early May, maybe May the 8th. So we'll see how that turns out and how we're going to incorporate that into our early grades curriculum, that pre-K 2. So hopefully it will be helpful for us. I know last year when it came down to TN Ready on TCAP, our grade 2 struggled with the ELA part of that. And as a result, our 3rd grade scores were not what we wished they would be. We saw the list the other day. But anyway, we're hoping that that's going to be helpful to us. And I gave you all, I put in your folder last night or yesterday afternoon before your meeting, some scores that we had gotten. And it was school summary scores and district summary scores. And you can take a look at that. We actually did quite well. The school report card, which it has been out for a while, and Mr. Hall and I couldn't remember if we had already given that to you all or not, but we did well. We had a plus on practically every single area except 2 or 3. So we had improved. And if you look at the school scores, you can see they are rated on achievement, growth, absenteeism, and then of course the high school has the grad rate and the ready grad and a couple of additional things that the schools do not have. And then if you look at the district, you will see our levels. We have a growth measure. And so growth is simply whether or not our students improve from one year to the next. And you can see that we have several 4s and 5s on the growth level when it comes to those areas of ACT, ELA, English Language Arts, math, and social studies. So I wanted to just give that to you for your information. And if we have not given out that school report card, I am going to put that in principal's mailboxes, and we'll see that you get one. And actually, in most cases, they're pretty good. And I guess that is everything, Miss Esther, that I have.
Right. Thank you, Miss Linda. Okay, what about Miss Debbie Sexton?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello, Debbie.
All right. Well, I wanted to just thank all of our special ed teachers, our school psychologists. They have been working so hard this month as far as doing IEP meetings, eligibility meetings, reevaluation meetings. Also, just a big appreciation to our principals and our regular ed teachers for participating in those meetings. We couldn't have them without all those folks present. So I just really have a great group of teachers. So we're very thankful for them. Some of the things that we have been working on in special ed this month, of course, we did get the federal budget for IDEA completed. We had our detention center monitoring on April the 22nd. We will participate in a webinar tomorrow at 11 for our exit meeting at the detention center. Our students, our special ed students who want to participate are still receiving the speech therapy through teletherapy. When we came back from spring break, Grace Rehab did get started on the teletherapy with the OT and the PT. So we've got all of our related services going for those children whose parents want them to participate. Then let's see, I am working on another grant. I'm working on an IDEA technology grant that is due this Friday. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done. Miss Rector had shared some great information with me last night. She told me that all of our seniors that receive special ed services are on track to graduate. So we're very, very happy for those seniors that they have finished up and they're on track to graduate. There's a couple of things that I do have for the agenda. You all should have received a copy of the amendment. It's Amendment 4 for the special ed budget. I just need to move some money from one category, it's 71,200, 312, to another category, 72,220, 312. I was running a little bit short on money to pay for the OT PT therapy, so we're just changing those categories. And the last thing is, last month when we met, of course, we, as a district, we did receive that SPDIG early childhood grant. And I want to give a big thanks to Miss Keaton and Miss Hamilton yesterday. We participated in about an hour and 45-minute webinar to do a needs assessment. So we'll be starting on some training in July. But that grant, at first we were told was $20,000. So I need to make a correction. It is only $10,000 for materials for our early childhood special ed classroom. And that's all I have, unless you all have any questions.
Okay, thank you, Miss Debbie.
Thank you.
Okay, next, what about Dr. Amanda Stevens?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Been working on the general purpose budget. Y'all got a copy of that yesterday, and then I also gave you a copy of our federal budget, and that includes the IDEA. And also, I did forget to tell you all that we got money for Title 1D, and this is for the Juvenile Detention Center. So I'll be sending you a copy of that budget. It's due Friday, so I'll make sure that you get a copy of that. And then I also have for the agenda amendment number 7. This is the last amendment that we can do to clean up our general purpose budget for the year. And that's all I have, unless y'all have any questions.
Okay, thank you, Miss Amanda.
Thank you.
Okay, what about Keith Murray? Is he with us?
He was having, I don't know if he got his truck started or not. I think his truck had died on him, and I don't think he was able to get back. He's looking for a tow, I think, actually.
Okay, how about Brent Shoemaker?
I don't know if he's able to get, Greg was able to get on.
Here. No, he's not in here.
Okay. Okay, Miss Paulette King.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now, yes.
Okay, well, I'd like to say Happy Appreciation Day to all. I know there's many of those out there that's Appreciation Days, and as Scott said, ours was last Friday, and I can't say enough for my staff. This is a time that's beyond words. I also miss what I used to call normal. I'm not for sure what normal is anymore, or ever will be. But I feel fortunate to live in Scott County. I can say that from everything that I, see and hear. I do have a couple things on the agenda. One of the things is to renew our food and non-food, which is with IWC, our milk and ice cream, which is with Mayfield, and also our produce with T&T. I'd like to be able to have permission to do that. I also have an amendment there that needs to go forward. It is amendment number 1. It's a cleanup amendment. I'm just moving some monies from personnel around to pad a couple places just in case. I think we're fine, but I want to make sure. There is also one where I will be pulling monies from the my food balance to get due for the central freezer that I'm doing. And also I had to add a commodity line into my budget. Auditors wanted that in there. We always in the past, we just give them the number at the end of the year, but they said they'd like for it to be an item line number. So I needed to add that before the year was up. So all of that is on my amendment. The other thing is my budget. I did complete the budget. I gave that to Miss Amanda yesterday, and hopefully it's in with your alls. It's done with the best of my ability. My department, this has not been normal and no imagination. I've not been I can't really, I'm just reflecting back using last year and trying to make projections for next year if it starts normal. But right now, there's things that I'm spending and doing that I never expected to do. So hopefully it'll be a good budget. If not, I'll have several amendments, I'm sure, next year. I'm also would like to asked the board to allow me to be able to give my staff a bonus. I feel like they're deserving. It's been done across the state. They were either getting more money per hour or they're given a bonus. And these ladies that came back after spring break, not all did, but those that did and put themselves out there and have worked tirelessly to be able to produce these meals. As of April and March, at the end of April, we have done 93,816 meals. We will serve again tomorrow. And so that'll be probably about 20,000 more meals. And as of today, they're ready. And it's a lot of the principals have said, it is just amazing to watch them. They become very organized. They're getting quicker and better as they do this each time. But it has been an undertaking. It has been stressful, but they are more than deserving. I would cap it at $500. It would be based on the number of days that they worked, because it's not fair for ones that's worked 2 or 3 days to get the same that's worked 18 plus days. So I have talked with Mr. Hall about this. I have explained to him and it has been written into a letter how I would like to proceed with that. But I would like the opportunity to do that. Other than that, I don't remember if I told this before. So much has gone on and happened. But all of the cafeterias did get all their inspections completed before the end of the year. And I feel fortunate because several in the state did not. And they all received 100s. So that is an accomplishment also for those ladies.
Woo! That's great.
That's all I have, unless you all have something for me.
Okay, thanks a lot, Miss Paulette. I know those girls worked. They had to get all those meals done. Okay, next, do we have Mr. Shannon?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, well, just kind of giving you a little bit of an update on the maintenance department. We've got crews that are really getting a head start on a lot of their summer projects. We've got some men that's going out and doing some fire smoke damper inspections and backflow inspection repairs. Also, we've got concrete that's being laid. We've put a pad out at the maintenance building, as well as getting ready to pour another concrete pad at Fairview Elementary, and been working at Scott High to help get ready for some concrete that's going out there. Also, I'd like to make sure and thank the town of Huntsville. Back in April, they had come out and helped our maintenance crew with a sewer problem that we were having there. So they had helped us there at no cost. We really appreciate that. And as always, want to give a really big thank you to the Scott County Road Department. Every time that the maintenance crew has called and asked for some assistance, Road Director Kelvin King and his operators have been more than willing to come and help. We are really, really appreciative of it. And as a novice machine operator, I can tell you he's got some very, very fine equipment operators that makes a pretty complex job look very, very simple and easy. So they're good at it, and we thank them for it. Also, we are finishing now with our textbooks. We're in to the point now that we're doing some cost proposals, working to get those cost proposals completed so that we can go ahead and finalize the purchase of our new ELA textbook series. And I would be remiss if I didn't back up and make sure and thank all of the committee members that we had serve on the Scott County ELA Book Adoption Committee. There were 25 members, mostly teachers, and Miss Keaton from the Board of Education there, that they just did a wonderful job. They were very, very professional and conscientious in all their efforts. And I truly believe that we've got some really good ELA textbook series that's going to serve our system very well with the resources that we're putting in hands of our students. So we're working on getting that completed, and that'll allow us to get the teacher materials in their hands, hopefully before the end of this school year, so that they can be planning for next year. And let's all hope and pray that we get it off on time and to a great start. As far as the CTE goes, we're working on spending out the Perkins federal funds. As a matter of fact, Mr. Hall signed the last 2 requisitions today, and we'll have that very close to 100% spent. We're working on next year's Perkins Reserve allocation budgets. The state's still not released that, and as soon as they do, we'll be able to complete that. The last thing that I do have is some agenda items, asking for the board to allow us to ask the finance department to bid out parking lot repairs, sealing, and parking space lines being painted for next school year for Scott High School and Huntsville Elementary and Middle Schools. Those two, it's ready, and just kind of staying ahead of it and taking care of some pretty big investments for our school system there. Also, I'm asking that after conversations with the maintenance department, the bus garage, Mr. Hall, we've got 3 vehicles that are really not being used. And with that, they're just sitting there deteriorating. And, I'd like to ask for the finance department to allow those to be put on gov deals for sale. And it is a list of cars that we'd put there in your hands, hopefully. 2004 Ford Taurus, that is, it's been a Board of Education vehicle, and in the year that I've been there, it's not been used hardly at all. And then at the bus garage, we've got an orange Chevy truck in the early 90s that's not being used. I think that is a truck that Rusty West had used at Scott High at some point. And then we've got an older 1990s white Dodge truck that was a former maintenance department truck that's not being used either. So that's all I've got, unless anyone has any questions for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shannon. How about Mr. Bowles? Is he with us?
No.
Don't think so.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Gregg, you will be next.
Okay. Really, I have one item for the agenda, which will be to approve a Tennessee Education Broadband Consortium mini bid. It's an E-rate thing that the state put out that basically is a contract of contracts. And then we don't have to go through this big 30-day bid process. We can just send out a list of requirements to these specific vendors, and after a few days, whomever replies, we can award the bid to. I would just like to get that formalized in the board minutes, for the future. The only vendor and the winning vendor was PCS out of Knoxville, which is also our computer parts vendor. But and we had to do that last week just before the E-rate deadline. So I'll get that information to you. Other than that, I'm just ready for things to get back to normal. Yeah.
Well, you've done an awesome job. You really have. We appreciate you.
Thank you. You guys have given us a lot of support, and my crew here really has stepped up. There's some things that, we've not been able to get taken care of as quick as we're used to, but we're finally to a point now where we're getting back and starting to fill in the gaps. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hall.
Thank you. First of all, for some agenda items, let's see, we want to approve the TSBA membership dues. We'd also like to bring to the board the donation of $2,500 to the Boys and Girls Club for a reading grant program that they're going to be starting up there. It sounds very exciting. I've spoken with the director of the Boys and Girls Club and also Mr. Richard Spears from the Scott County News. So anyway, like I said, we'd like to do that in a donation of $2,500 to the Boys and Girls Club. Also, I want to back up and second the notion on Paulette's bid for the food service. I think it's very deserving, very rewarding, and also I think these ladies will greatly appreciate what they get. As I know many people have said, those folks, among others in our system, have stepped up to the front lines and delivered for our students. And as a lot of you, and a lot of the board y'all mentioned last night, how good the meals were. Not just for handing them a meal, we're handing them a very good meal. And I think that goes a long way too, knowing that what they're getting is quality. And I think that our community is greatly appreciated. As you can see, the numbers over almost 94,000. So yeah, I do believe they're very appreciative of the whole process. And also when we started the process, I think the plan that we stuck with to have the parents who come and pick up the meals has been more value for us and for them also. I think it's made it safer, truthfully. And I think that it's made it more efficient and it fit our needs, what we need to do in order to make it best for our community. And I greatly appreciate all the work, Paulette, her staff, and all the cooks. It's just been truly amazing, guys. And I've said it over and over and over, and I'll continue to say it. We're very blessed to have such great people that we have doing on the front lines for us. As a lot of our principals have mentioned already, Teacher Appreciation Week is this week. And guys, those guys have, and I know every principal has mentioned the same thing because it's all the truth about the job they have done of educating and doing the best they can with what they've got. And they have been so creative. I mean, I can't tell you how impressed I've been with especially some of our newer, younger teachers that come up with a teacher heart out. And it's just been amazing to go on and watch. Enjoy getting on and watching their lessons that they do. And, you know, and in times like this when everybody could have wrapped it down and shut it down and said, we can't reach this person or that person. We didn't do that. We said from the day one, we're going to try to reach everybody we can. And you guys have made that possible. And I'm sure there's a handful here and there that we haven't been able to maybe get to or to get things in from. But I would be willing to bet, as far as from a percentage perspective, our system is as good or better than anybody anywhere in this state. And that goes for the job that you guys have done since day one. And we didn't wait 3 weeks to get started like some people. We got started, we let out on Monday, we started the next Tuesday. And our kids, you know, even though it's not being with that teacher every day and seeing and getting that instruction, still got education to those kids. And I feel like that the gap as much as some systems will see. I'll say that I did have a conversation with Senator Yeager this past Friday with districts that he represents with all the directors, and some of the conversations that we alluded to, and I may have talked to the board about this last night, but starting time for school next year. Senator Yeager had mentioned one of his people in his district had asked to start after Labor Day. Well, everyone on the conversation there was really in agreement to starting when our calendar says to start, provided it's safe and the governor says we can. The fact is, I think Greg's mentioned it and everybody's mentioned it, getting to normal, provided it's safe. We'll always put that first. But everybody wants to get back to doing what they do. And, you know, when you go almost a month of March, April, and May, and then you take your summer, June and July, and you extend it on out, that's even more time not being in a classroom, getting a top quality education. So they can see it in our district, at least with Senator Yeager's group, it's a start on time. Now, Senator Yeager will take that back, you know, and I guess he will take it to the people that looks and studies with the CDC and the health departments and the Vanderbilt study that's going on as far as following the COVID-19. And then the decision will be made, I guess, through the commissioner's office along with Governor Lee I guess, as we approach into the summer months. So that's kind of, direction, what we're waiting on now. I did meet with Mr. Cash and Mr. Henry from Scott High School to discuss about the restarting of some of our athletic programs. Right now, while school is shut down, we're going to continue to close facilities to any athletics that are going on right now. Mr. Henry, Mr. Cash, and myself will meet again in another week to discuss and look at, where we are in the county as far as active cases, new cases, those type of things from there, and then look at our surrounding areas and see what they are doing. Again, on the phone conversation with Mr. Yeager, everyone is shut down through the month of May, and then they're doing the same what we're doing. They're going to look at June and see how it is and where we are from there, about allowing weight rooms to open and maybe the gyms to open for some practice, those type of things. Again, we will still have to abide by what rules are set forth. TWSAA right now and the TMSAA has left it with us. And so we'll make that decision what's best for us if that is still the case when June comes. I do have a feeling that TWSAA will, at some point in time, probably set a start date. That's just my personal feeling. Then again, like I said, throughout this whole thing, it seems like, for the most part, it seems like it's right one day and wrong the next. So, we'll wait until we hear from Mr. Childress and the TWSAA on those things. Let me say this. Much prayers for Miss Rector right now. She's planning this graduation. I've watched and I've seen and I know the hours that she puts in and things she's tried to plan and see it. What you think a plan is as good as you can put forth, and then realize when you get there and you start measuring and going on and you just don't have space. So then you got to go back and do another plan. Well, then that plan gets for some reason. I think Mr. Bond can attest. He was with them and as they've worked and guys, we'll do the best that we can, and I know that we'll make it as good as we can. It's not going to be as normal as I think Ms. Paulette and a lot of you all said too. What is normal anymore? But I will say that we will have a graduation for these kids. It'll be one to remember simply because of what's happened and what's taken place. But a lot of the fact, these kids stayed the course, our teachers stayed the course, and we'll finish. And I think we adopted a slogan of finishing strong. About a month ago, we decided that was going to be, we was going to finish strong. And guys, we're getting close. All right, we're close. We can see the finish line is there. All right, we can almost breathe that sigh of relief. But as a coach, and I know Mr. Shannon will tell you the same thing. You want to take those last, especially as basketball, football, the last 3 minutes of a game when it's tight. That's when you finish. Well, folks, we're in that last quarter. It's time to finish strong and finish on a gallop and really stay the course we've set. I'm very proud of everyone. I can't say how much that's been enjoyable. It's not been easy, but it's been really enjoyable to watch you guys, and because what you guys have done out there has just been truly amazing. And I'm ever so thankful and appreciative for what you've done. Let me see. I did mention to the board last night, but I know that we did receive some money from Walmart and also from Hillwood Foods to go to our food service. And that was in the amount of, from Walmart, about $1,500 for both. So that was greatly appreciative that Ms. Paulette will be able to use for her food service there. And let's see, I know she had mentioned about 93,816 meals. Guys, I think we'll go almost 94,000. We'll top 100,000 tomorrow, maybe 110,000. So that's astounding. That's truly amazing. And let's see, I'm gonna make sure I've got everything here. We have, guys, thank Miss Amanda for her work she's done on the budget. That's a big undertaking, and I know that Amanda will tell you is 10% of our budget is federal, but that takes up 90% of her time. And so when she delves into the general purpose, it's like throwing on it real quick when we get our allocation in, and then all once county commission and then starts barking and says, hey, we got to have your budget by this date. Well, when you take budget nearly right at $24 million, have to get it ready in less than 10 days. That's pretty dang good, folks. So Amanda, great job. And can't say enough of the job that you've done with that. Let's see here. Because I think that's it. Getting a little long-winded, so I know everybody's ready to call it a day. But thank you guys. Thank the board for your meeting last night, going over our budget. As I've always said, this is your budget. We manage it for you. So I know as you delve into it and look at some things that we've done right there, if you have questions, comments, things you want to change, please call, and we'll look and see what can be done. Anyway, thank you guys.
Okay, thank you. Have I overlooked anyone? Okay, with that, Miss Diane, have you got anything?
Just want to thank all the administration and all the cooks, everyone that's helped in our system during this pandemic. They've done an outstanding job.
Absolutely. Okay. Miss Linda.
I also agree. I'm so proud of everybody in the county. And Mr. Hall, did you mention something last night about there being a time frame for the homework?
I want to think each principal's kind of set like a May 8th.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to continue until this school is done. Like I said, our goal is to get everything and to pass everyone if possible.
Right.
But I think right now they're starting to collect. You kind of put slow the brakes down on anything new. We're going to start winding it down. Like I said, trying to get grades in. Work with those ones that still need maybe some amending or some still a little extra work to get the grade up. So that's kind of the focus right now as we finish up.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate the job you've been doing.
Thank you.
Okay. Did you have anything else, Linda?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Did Mr. Beatty ever show up?
No, he was not able to get on. Is that correct, Greg?
Yeah, we couldn't get him in there.
Okay. Miss Kim.
I don't want to repeat the same thing, but I want to thank everybody in the school system that works in any department, anyway, principals, teachers, secretaries, monitors, nurses. They've done an outstanding job this year, and I know it's been a stressful time, and we can't commend them enough on what they've done. Just want to thank you all very much.
Thank you, Kim. Okay, Lou, how about you?
I just want to issue a heartfelt thanks to the teachers' aides for such a great job during these trying times. The cafeteria staff has just been great. Technology, y'all have excelled. Thank you.
About Derek? Mr. Derek?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
Okay. Hey, I just want to thank everybody for what they've done during this unique time. And I just want to say it really makes me take comfort knowing that with all these big problems and stuff going on, that we can overcome them and we can get done what needs to get done. And all the credit deserves to give out to all the employees and everybody that makes it happen. On the sheriff's office side, I know that it's crunch time for grades, and you might still be having problems getting in touch with students or parents. Feel free to contact school resource officers. Have us go out and check on those families, maybe even deliver a message for you. I think most of us are working day shift. A couple are working evenings. But if you have any problems getting in contact with anybody, especially during this crunch time where you're getting grades in and everything, feel free to contact me or another SRO, and we'll try to make contact with them while we're out and about and do what we can to get the job done.
Okay. Thank you, Derek. I'd just like to say how proud I am of everybody, and I'm so happy to be a part of this organization. And I just thank God that I get to work with the board that we work with. And that's all I have to say. So if anybody doesn't have anything, we will close up and come home.
Hey, Ms. Esther, if I could say this too, I know I spoke with County Commission, and I did forget to mention this. County Commission is going to now doing their meetings this month. I'm going to look at our office. I think right now, as far as space is kind of limited, what we can and can't do to provide by all the orders that are set amongst the Executive Order 30. I'll look and see at a space and try to start mapping out to see if you guys want to have the meeting at our office on the next Thursday. And I'll let you know whether or not I feel like it. We can do. Greg, if you may want to come out one day and we kind of look at it and kind of see, give me a plan. Maybe we can reorganize the room a little bit, take out some chairs here and there, probably quite a few, and see what we can do.
Can do.
All right.
Okay. Thank everybody.
Thank you.
We'll see you Thursday.
Awesome.
Okay.
Everybody have a good night.
Yes.
Yes, you all too. Thank you guys. Thank all of you.
Goodbye all.
Goodbye.